I just got an update from Blake Cousins. Blake and Brent Cousins are filming a documentary with some new amazing UFO footage that's going to be shown in Third Phase of Moon very soon. And some new videos that just came up is one that looks like a portal with something coming in or out of it, another giant orb, and a fleet from Portland, I believe. Those are all free on Third Phase of Moon, and there's 2 movies, documentaries that are out there for free for the world to see. One is Alien Abduction Diaries, the other is Alien Human Project. Both of them available on Third Phase of Moon, and that's a gift to the public. But now we have someone else on the line. We have an abductee who has an amazing story. He is great because he has a lot of conscious recall. It didn't need a lot of hypnotherapy to get back his regressions. And some of the things he has shared to Yvonne Smith and to other people were so profound and so similar to what other people were saying. I would love for you two, Kathleen, Marden, Denise Stoner, to tell us about what you think Ricky's case involves everybody else you've been dealing with. Ricky, are you here with us today?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You're live to everybody on the world. You know, Ricky, let's just jump right to it. Let's go to that first abduction that you were talking about. Not necessarily your first, but that one that you were let out of your house early in the morning, the street. Take it from there. You know what I'm talking about.
Basically, okay. Hello, ladies. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe he's basically talking about my story, which when I was taken. And mine wasn't, they didn't come and grab me or anything like that. I actually went to them. So I'm going to try to make it super as quick as possible because it's a long story. But one night, they just, I heard a bunch of dogs barking. So I live in an apartment, no pets. I was kind of tripping out about that. So I woke up expecting to see some dogs in my house, and then when I woke up, I was walking down the street, and of course I didn't know what was going on at this time. Realized all I could do was use my eyeballs. The rest was totally out of my control, and the dogs that were barking at me walking down the street at whatever time it was. So I walked a little more, I just bent down, and they kind of pointed me like a tripod, I always say, and made me look at something. And there's so much detail to every little step I'm saying. I'm just going over it real quick. So I looked, and I saw this little, I thought it was a shack or a little shed, because it was like in a field. I was over a bridge. This is like 89, 88. And it ended up being a craft, but I didn't know at this time. I thought it was like some kind of vehicle. And it was a ball shape, just perfect black ball. And there was 2 guys standing on each, like outside of it, like walking around. Again, I couldn't get up and run or do anything. I was just sitting there. So I blacked out, which is my second time blacking out. I didn't say I blacked out the first time. Blacked out, the next thing I knew, I was walking into this ball. And it looked like a black pearl, big, giant black pearl. But I didn't know it was a flying thing. I didn't know it flew. I thought it was just going to drive away or something at this time. So, again, I didn't see the 2 guys because I couldn't move my head and look at them or anything. And so I walk in, I duck in, walk in, get in on one knee, and I was like facing the wall. It wasn't really a wall, just, black. They walk in behind me and ask me where they're taking me. And they tell me to the back of the moon. And I said, why? He said, because Earth can't detect us from the back of the moon. And I said, okay. I didn't react. I didn't flip out because at this time I didn't even know it was real. And so I just acted like nothing, like it was nothing. So it took off. And when they flew, the ball was black inside. It was solid black. Couldn't see anything. And when it takes off, it becomes transparent, where you can see, like it turns into a big window. And we just went to the moon. 10 seconds, not even. I didn't really count, but it wasn't nothing. So I blacked out again. Should I stop or anything, or keep going?
Nope.
Or
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
okay. And then the next, after I wake up out of the next blackout, there's these two guys, and they got me by my armpits, kind of like picking me up, making me walk. And again, every time I black out, I don't know what's going on. I don't know that I was just in this field. I don't know I was on the bridge. I don't know about the dogs barking. Every time I come out of it at this time, I think it's just a new event. I don't remember the last event. Just catch my breath, sorry.
It's okay.
And then these guys are dragging me by my shoulders, so I wake up. I wake up, and they're in this big, rusty colored, big old, it's not a big room, but it's like super high, like tall, like the ceilings you can't see. And that's why I mean it was big, a room. It was like a regular hallway, but it was just long, like up long. And so they tell me this door was like open. You could tell it was like a hallway, and then a room, and then like another door, or some kind of something. They told me get undressed and go lay down like the rest of them. So I get undressed and I walk in this room, and it was like probably about 100 people laying on the ground. And I call it organized chaos because it was messy, it was dark, it was stinky, but it was organized. They were laying down where it was rows where they were head to head. Everybody was head to head. There would be a gap where you could walk in, and then there'd be a group of another ones head to head. Just long rows. And there was a bunch of stuff going on there, and I found my spot and I laid down. Blacked out again. The next time I woke up because I got scared because I heard a bunch of screaming. And I was like kind of sliding down this little metal thing into some kind of water or something at the time, I thought it was. And it looked like a bunch of people in there screaming and panicking and everything. So I was freaking out. And then I started getting into it. It started getting up to my waist, and so I was holding on to the side because I was dry. So I got a little grip. And I realized that it wasn't water. It was like some, I call it like a jello, like a green and black jello. And there's probably about 15 other people in there with me. And it was huge, like around 30 yards wide, and hecka steep and hecka deep, where it just kept you in it. Like it was a funnel-shaped pool. You know what a funnel is that has a hole? You put oil in your car with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clog up that oil, fill it halfway up with oil, and put a human in there and try to climb out of it. That was my situation. But the situation
was this tall room you were in? Was this inside that black sphere?
No, definitely not that, because I had to get on one knee in the little black ball.
That's what it was like being inside that fluid, please.
Yes, please.
I didn't. What my situation was, they kept telling me, you can get in, go under, you could breathe it, you could eat it, you could digest it. Excuse my language, ladies, but I'm just telling how it happened. They said you can shit it out, and it turns into the gel. You can live in it, they said. Under it, while you're under it, not just like waist deep, you can live in it. So, but I didn't know who this was who was telling me this. I didn't believe him. I sure wasn't going to try it out.
Did they tell you the purpose of it?
No, but eventually I figured it out to my own, opinion of what it was for. I came to the conclusion it was for two reasons. For me to be during some sort of transportation process, like maybe they flew somewhere or something, and I couldn't just be standing and, or I thought it was to clean us inside and out before they do anything to me or have any physical contact with me.
Well, Denise and Jenny in our book have both been in that fluid, and many, many other people have too, and talked to us independently about this fluid. And it seems that there are two different consistencies, and one is thinner than the other. And the thicker one is used for transportation, but the thinner one is used for another purpose, and we didn't know if it was cleansing, if it was medicinal, if it was nutritional, or what.
Yeah, I believe it's cleansing because you can. I don't think people even realize. Well, where I was, I don't know where those people were, but I was on what I call a whole other planet. Mm-hmm. So, and I know a lot of things probably don't coexist. You know, we could spit on the ground and might even change their entire future. You know what I mean? So them cleaning us out inside and out. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they said we could. Well, I didn't finish that story, but so we could live in it. And that's what made me think some of those people were in there for years, because there was this one guy that kept climbing out. And my conclusion was he had to be here for an awfully long time to figure this out. Because I'm 45, and in the old school playgrounds, there used to be metal, like a metal slide. Now, pour oil on that slide and try to climb up. You can't do it. You can't do it. And this guy did it. So that's what made me think he had to be here for years.
And you say it was two different colors?
It was black and green. It was like if you got a ball of it, because you could scoop it up in your hand, but it was a liquid. Makes no sense, I know.
And you did not enter it, or you did?
Well, not while I was awake or whatever. Again, I didn't even get to finish the jail pool story. You know what I mean? So I could finish it real quick and tell you what happened.
Okay.
The guy I noticed
we'll have
kept
some
climbing.
questions.
Right. Then the guy I noticed kept climbing out, which was, made me think, okay, he's been here a while. And what they would do is let him get up a little bit, and they would flash this light on him, this little bluish, weird color light, like a beam light. But I compared it to a flashlight, and it just made him slip back down, and he slipped back into the jail. And then he did it again, and he almost got out. And that's when I was thinking, what is he going to do when he gets out? We're on the moon. Where is he going to go? Who's he going to help him? I didn't understand his logic at that time because we were in an incredible situation. So they hit him with another light again. He went back in. So I got scared, and then I laid like if you were in a swimming pool, and you looked up and you went under the pool until the water was only uncovering your eyes and your nose.
Right.
Like if that was the only thing out of the water. I did that in the jail because I didn't want them to hit me with the light.
What did the light do to you when they hit? I mean, was it a rod with a light on it?
No, it didn't even do anything. It literally looked like if I flashed a flashlight on you and all you did was just let go of your grip or something. You just slide right in. It wasn't no violent shake or it wasn't anything like that.
So what, it kind of maybe stopped your muscles from being usable or something?
Yeah, he just basically slid right back down. No, he wasn't screaming. It wasn't painful. I know that for sure. So, and that was pretty much the end of that story of the jail pool. Then I went to another stage.
So you did not inhale any of that fluid?
Not while I was awake. I blacked out. So when I blacked out, I figured I went under. And I don't remember that part.
Can you describe the gel to us in detail? You said that it's black and green. Can you? What shade of green and how was the black into it?
It was more like the outside of it was black. Like if you saw a pool of it, you would think the whole liquid was black. But when you splashed around in it, you would realize that the black is just like the layer. It's just like a color of it. But once you get in it, it's green. And you could pick it up.
What shade of green?
I would say more like a dark green. I would say like a greenish black.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you notice anything about it when you got out of it? How quickly did it dry when you finally got out of it?
Again, when I when I blacked out and woke up, it wasn't like I woke up realizing I just came out of a pool, so I didn't notice that, and I was in a whole different situation. So every second there is too much. I can't even think about the last second because the next thing I see, I've never seen in my life. It doesn't even supposed to exist. So I never had time to focus off anything until after, of course. So, but the gel was like if you scooped it up in your hand, it reminded me of, okay, not the Jell-O pudding like the vanilla or chocolate, but the clear Jell-O you would get, like lime Jell-O, red Jell-O, like that, but warm. You know, right before it's it chills all the way, you can kind of pick it up and put your hands in it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain something that doesn't exist here. But you can, like, pick it up in your hand. You know what I mean? You could, but it would just go through your fingers. It would go through your fingers if you, like, moved or, like, something like that.
It has been compared to a hair gel that they used to make called DEP, I think.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about in a way. You could pick that up too, but
kind of thicker consistency.
That gel stuff, the hair stuff, kind of sticks to your hand. You'd have to run it through warm water to rinse it off. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was like a liquid. You know, it was like a liquid. So,
okay. And where did you feel you were the next time you recall after the gel situation? Do you recall getting your clothing back on? What happened next?
No, I went. That's only like the third stage of the story. I was just getting there. You know what I mean? This hasn't even. Yeah, I haven't even told you what happened. You know, when I met them, what they told me, what they showed me.
What did they look like, real quick? You mind describing?
I mean, honestly, just let me go, and then that was the next stage where I met them. You know, I met them face to face. So the next thing that happens is I wake up again from another blackout. But why I wake up this time is because they're holding me by my wrist. And somebody's like walking me, but they're not like walking with me. They're kind of like tugging me along. And the thing that woke me up was that they felt like a frog. I'm terrified of. I've been terrified of frogs since forever. And it just reminded me of a giant frog grabbing me. So I yanked back. It wasn't exactly like a frog, but it's what it reminded me of.
The skin,
yanked back. Yes.
These grays were...
Anyway, so I yanked back, and I got like I'm naked, and they got me, I'm in like a boxer stance. You know what I mean? Like I'm about to fight. So I look at them, and it's a monster. Like a real live, to me, it was a monster. That was the ugliest thing I ever seen. And I almost died because I almost had a heart attack. Because they're so dirty. Every picture you've seen of them is close, but not even close. You would think you could see that picture every day, and then bam, you see one and you're going to lose it. And it's so hard for me to talk regular with two females on here because I'm really, really blunt. And when I say it scared the crap out of you, I'm not even playing. You know what I mean? It's beyond anything you've ever seen or been told or shown. But anyway, they grabbed me, and I yanked back, and I saw them, and I knew what they did instantly. They scared the crap out of me. And so I wouldn't look at them. I didn't look at them. I looked down, and I wouldn't more control myself. So he knew I was about to punch him. He said, if I do that, you'll change the world as you know it. And when he told me that, I realized that we weren't even speaking. There was three of us. That's when I noticed there was another one to my left, which even scared me more, because there was two of them. I knew I could kill him with my hands, with my bare hands. But the fear they gave me was incredible. I mean, really, you could see a mouse, and I've seen people run and scream and jump on counters and stuff, when in reality, all you'd have to do is stomp on it. And that's kind of how I was feeling like I could actually kill them both with one hand at the same time. You know, they were so fragile. And I realized we were talking with our brains. All three of us was like shared one space of a skull. And the communication was pretty weird. It took me a minute to figure it out. I'm going to try and go through it quick. I was going to fight them, whatever, and what they did is they let me see what would happen if I hit him. I actually thought I hit him, but it wasn't. They actually, our brain, I don't even think we use 10% of our brain the way I used my brain when I was with them. They let me see what would happen, which I actually thought would happen. And what happened was I hit him in the head, and it blew up. And I got the insides of them all over me. And I freaked out because I didn't like their skin, and I didn't like the insides of them more. So I didn't hit them. Make a long story short on that part, they got mad at me and left. Now, Travis and them been through a little situation like this where they left them. But they left me in a big black room, and I think this is where Travis took off. I didn't want to take off because I thought they were going to get more. And I didn't want to follow them and be there. I'd rather them come and find me. So what happens is this big, tall dude comes in. I'm only 5'5", so he could have been
taller.
6
Were you saying the other ones were shorter, were grays?
Yeah,
or?
They were like up to my armpits.
Okay.
They were the typical grays, what you guys call grays. They were up to my armpits. But this guy was taller than me. He had at least had a head taller than me. And the feeling I got when this guy came in was like so much love. It was like, thank God that you're here. Not even know this guy. Never met him. He's another monster. He's ugly. But he looks at
what
the
did he
two
look
beings.
like?
This guy I couldn't look at either because I freak out also. But he was more of like he wasn't tan. He was more like a brownish kind of, I don't even want to say that because I looked at him a very short amount of time. And the reason I didn't want to look at this guy was different. He was still ugly, but I didn't want to look at this guy either because I liked this guy. I really actually loved this dude. And I didn't want him to read my mind and know that I thought he was the ugliest thing I ever met because I didn't want him to get offended because I liked him. The other ones I didn't care about. But I really didn't.
Do you have any idea why you liked him?
No.
You don't know.
He just made me feel. It was just like he actually made me feel like you would love a family member. You know what I mean? It was just something like that. I'm not saying I'm not into all that.
So do you think he was sending the emotion to you?
No, we all have vibes. Every human being has a vibe. It's like our fingerprint. I learned this from them. It's like a fingerprint. So that's how they recognize each other. It isn't, hey, Brian, hey, hey, this, hey, Carol, hey, whatever. It's your fingerprint.
Sure. It's your frequency.
That's our ID. And it's just like when you die and go back home and we don't have bodies, you remember your grandmother from her fingerprint. You don't have to see her. She makes you feel the same way she did when you were here. But anyway, it was the same type of situation. So anyway, he looks at them, and they seemed excited to me that I was about to get in trouble because they're on a very strict time thing, and I cannot F things up, and I was messing things up bad. I was very violent, threatened to kill them. So he looks at them, and this isn't me saying this, I'm just telling my story. People always get on me about this, but this is what happened. He looks at them and says, "This is the prophet." And they look at each other and walk away. And then me and this guy walk off. And again, I wasn't afraid of him, but I didn't like to touch him. So instead of him holding my hand while we're walking through this dark hall or something, I walk shoulder to shoulder with the word. I'm actually touching him when we're walking so I don't have to look. I was just basically following where he was going. And I started asking him questions. Should I take a break? Or are we all right?
No, we'd love to hear more. We got more questions for you.
Okay. So this is getting towards the end. So I asked him what's going on. He says we need to do some examinations on you. And I'm on the moon. They're my ride home. I don't know what happens if I refuse. So I said, okay. I go, and I made an agreement. This is all telepathy. This is all talking in our heads. And I told him, don't touch me, don't hurt me, or don't scare me. And that's the deal. Let's get it over with. So boom. Next thing I do, I'm laying on the table. Like instantly to me. And this is where I met the third species, which I call the doctors, who were taller than the Greys, but they look like the Greys. Yeah, this is the examination part, I guess. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing I know, this is part of the thing I agreed on, so I figure it's going to be pretty simple and I can get to go home. And so the first thing they do is they got my right arm and it's like laying out. And they use technology or whatever you want to call it. It's just unexplainable to our brain. Your brain can't even explain it to you. So when they were doing it and I was watching it, I wasn't understanding it. So what I thought he cut a big square out of my forearm, and he took a piece of skin. But what they really did was they took something I couldn't even see. And the first thing I told them was, you didn't get enough. And they said they got, more than they need. Okay, that was easy. I wasn't even worried. So the next thing they do is they're taking my right eyeball out. They just took it out of my head. Didn't hurt. Didn't nothing. They started.
And this is hanging by your ligament?
I don't even know what that's called, but it was like some kind. To me, I thought it was some kind of gray cord or something, because I could see it with my other eye. And as they were taking it in, they were putting in like I only compare it to a BB, but smaller. Like when I mean BB, I mean from a BB gun.
Okay.
But it was an implant. I called it a monitor. Well, they called it a monitor. So I asked him, what's this for? He says, so we can monitor you. And I thought it was they could see everything I see, like a video camera. And I didn't understand that, whatever. So I'm freaking out now. This isn't easy. It was easy, but this is big time stuff. You're taking my eyeball out. This ain't even cool. You know what I mean? This isn't taking a little bit of skin. This is major. So I'll get into it if you ask questions about it, but I'm not going to get into it right now so I can finish the story. But the third stage for me was they extracted some semen. And I always say the hard way. I hear all these stories, they laid out a beautiful lady and, I did all this. I didn't get that trip. I didn't get to experience that. I would have loved that more than what I went through, but I did not go do that. So anyway, they extracted some semen. And then another part I'm going to go through real quick, but it's a huge part of the story. I'm done with the examination. I'm laying down. I'm not really blacked out. I'm more sleeping because I was exhausted, like more exhausted than I've ever been. And the two were at my feet, and they're talking to each other about me. They started talking about my birthmarks and my scars, and then they started talking about how I die and when I die, and it freaked me out. I got pissed. I sat up kind of like you would see Frankenstein sit up for like laying down flat, but then get up from your waist up. Mm-hmm. I looked at him. I started screaming at him. I told him to fix me. I go, I'm on the phone. I told him, fix me. I go, you can bring me to the moon. You can fix me. So they were telling me how I'm going to die. It was ridiculous. And it scared the crap out of me. I thought it was insane to tell somebody that. But I don't think they realized that I was listening. So what they did, there was one standing at my head, and I didn't know that. And what he did is grab my head and laid me back down, and they let me experience death. They took me there. I got to see everything. And that's what I mean. It's a big part of the story, but I'm going to move on. So when I woke up from that and got to experience that, I was upset because I came back. I wanted to stay there, whatever. So what they did was they scared the crap out of me by telling me how I'm going to die. And then they showed me death, where when I saw it, it didn't scare me. I had no fear of it. I actually can't wait, in a way. So moving on, the next thing I do is I'm walking with that guy again, the taller one. And the first thing I ask him is, why did you take my semen? I was pretty upset about that. And he says, we make babies in space. And again, this is the part where I realized where they were talking to me like I was a 3-year-old kid. They didn't talk to me like I'm talking, like we were talking. It was like, we make babies in space, real 3-word sentences, stuff like that, like you would with a little kid. So I'm just throwing that in there. And so we make babies in space, and they download things into you. They don't have to explain anything to you. They can literally download. That's why I think humans got the idea from a computer, from how life works, being able to download. You can actually download into humans. It's possible. It happened to me. I've been through it. So they downloaded to me the whole baby thing, the babies in space. And the way they explain it, I call them backup humans. They call them pure humans. And the meaning of a pure human is, it'd be like a first-generation human, if that makes any sense to anyone. So I accepted it. When they tell you everything and show you everything, there's really no need to ask questions because your answers are in your own brain. That's why they download it into you. That's just like a computer. You can go to a computer and it has every answer you want, but you have to access it. So that's how it worked for me. So I accepted what they said and moved on because I had a new experience every step I took. So as I'm wondering about these humans, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. He was walking with me, and I didn't realize at the time that he's going to answer my question by taking me to where I'm going. And I haven't even asked my question that he already knows what I'm thinking. I'm thinking in my head. What is he talking about? Pure humans. So as I'm about to ask him, we go into this another room, and there's 2 kids, and there were 2 human beings, and they were like, I say 14, 15 years old. And they were sitting on some black desk table or something, just at this wall, and they were doing something. They looked at me, I looked at them, and he showed me pure humans who were born in space. So he's explaining everything as it's like a fulfilling kind of communication. It's like the game Tetris. Every little thing, every little answer you get just fits so perfect, and you don't even have to ask because you have the information. So he shows me them again. I got questions about that. And he's answering me the question again by taking me while I'm thinking in my brain. So I'm walking, I'm thinking, damn, so how are these guys eating? First of all, I don't see any, cafe here. I don't see no cafeterias. The humans are eating something. So I'm thinking to myself, I really thought this was kind of funny to me. I pictured one of these ugly guys with a chef hat barbecuing hamburgers. That's what I was thinking at the time while they walked me into this room. And the first thing he shows me is there's this cow hanging upside down in this room. And instantly my heart panics because I think, okay, they're being nice this whole time. Now they're about to kill me. There's this cow dead. It's hanging up. And I'm not stupid. I know how much a cow weighs. And to have this 10 feet high in the air just hanging there is ridiculous. So I'm already thinking I'm dead. First thing I tell him is, this is effed up. He says, what? Are you taking me like this and doing this? I said, this is effed up. And then he goes, what's the difference between you and us? And then again, he explains this to me like a download. He says, what does a tiger think when he's running through a forest and hears a loud thunder? And then what does the tiger think when he looks up and sees a big metal object in the sky with, talking about a helicopter and flying in the air and being kind of hanging out of it? Then what does the tiger think, or how can he explain when he feels a pain in his hip and all he can do is use his eyeballs? Then how does he explain when the craft lands and beings come out and take a tooth, take semen, take blood? And then how does it explain that when the beings leave and then you come back too when they have all function? How does a tiger explain that to itself? And how is it wrong for us to do what we're doing, but it's okay for you? And he started explaining how humans are worse. You know what I mean? We do it every day. We kill animals to find out about them. So I started thinking to myself, because I know they can see what I'm thinking. I didn't want them to see know what we do to chickens, what we do to cows, what we do to, anything we eat. We control their lives. So, move on again. What he did is they dipped this cow in some kind of liquid. It was funny because if you filled up a barrel with water and you sat in that, water's just going to come out. When it went in, no water came out. It just stayed the same level. When it came out, it had an opening in its stomach and towards its rear end. I didn't ask about them, but I asked them what that's for, and they say, what do humans eat as babies? And I said, milk. And they said, yes, correct. And they say, what do you eat as adults? I said, we eat vegetables. They said, correct. And they let me know that they make pure cows also. No fleas, no diseases, first generations, 100% healthy. And what I got out of that, what they use for the humans in space as food. That's just what I got. They didn't tell me that. He kind of told me how I told you. And then that's pretty much the end of the story. They sent me home like 3 seconds before my alarm clock went off. And I had no time to think because I had like 30 minutes to get to work. And that was that experience.
Kathleen, Denise, do you have any similar stories you've heard or any comments you have to say to this?
Well, there's a common thread that runs through all of this. He has asked a lot more questions than most people have the ability to ask, but his description of what he experienced is pretty common, as far as I'm concerned. People have even been told that, during that apology and comparison where humans do this to other animals, it has also been stated, you have been known to eat your own to humans.
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
One thing I definitely want to say about the whole story is, this is from being a victim and going through it, is that's nothing. What I just told you doesn't even matter to why they're here. That's literally nothing. That's like finding out you have cancer and only worrying about your examination. Once you get your examination figured out, you got to throw the examination out the window and figure out why. And I know why. And to me, I've talked to a doctor about it. I really think it's a waste of time to talk about the abduction because that's not what matters.
Well, there are an awful lot of people out there who don't understand the abduction. I was also impressed by your description of the download. I think you put it in a way that a lot of people couldn't really describe it, at least from the different ones I've heard. I think it was an excellent description on the air of the understanding of that.
To me, though, the saddest part about it is it's possible. Us as humans, instead of mastering our own minds, we'll make something to do it for us. When we have that ability, we created that ability. How could the master create something better? It's not going to happen. We are the computer. A computer is nothing but an imitation of a human brain.
That's true.
And I'm saying, why aren't we using our brain? That's what makes us so stupid, because from them to me to you, this is how they describe them. We are not smarter than you. We are older than you. We've experienced more than you. That's it. They're not smarter. They're not. They've made it. They keep continuing to exist. We fail to continue to exist. I don't believe any human species that walk this planet has survived for a couple million years at a time. We always have gaps. We always disappear for a while, but no one ever asked why and how we got back.
It's a very interesting point. You said the why when you were mentioning the cancer. What was your explanation of why the abductions? Did they give you a reason why?
Yeah, it's simple. And like I said, I've told the reason why to hundreds and hundreds of people, but they have so many questions after it. And that's how I try to tell people, once you accept it, you know it. So I don't have any questions after they tell me. I understand it, and there's so many other things going on to know. Why would I focus on, that? So what they told me and showed me was, it's so simple, is what I call them backup humans and what they call pure humans. So basically, they are here again, and they've been here since the beginning of our time, to have backup humans to repopulate this planet for the next time we become extinct. Now, when you have first-generation humans, say we get nuked out or something hits the planet, we're all gone. And then we can't come back for 4 million years or whatever it is. The planet might be a cold planet by that time. It might be a warm planet. It might be a wet planet. It might be a cold, it just goes on. So we have to wait for our perfect time again, because we can't live in certain kind of environments like underwater or stuff like that. They don't go to that kind of extreme. But they can make us, adapt to cold. Look at how many different human species are here. We've got humans that live in 0 below weather. We have humans that live in like 130-degree weather. You know what I mean? So they just make it so we can come back. That's basically it, because they love us. I'm sure that was the next question, because they love us. That's the craziest thing people can swallow. They cannot believe that. And I say to that is, then why do we do it to monkeys and sharks? Because we don't want them to become extinct, but we think it's so far-fetched for beings from another planet to do it to us.
Do you feel that yourself? That's a question I would have. Do you feel loved by those beings enough that they would preserve us?
Of course. I'm here. They brought me home. That's all they had to show me. I'll back them up on that one.
You would? Okay.
Oh, right. Definitely. There's so much proof that they love us. They could have. People say they're here to attack us and stuff, but my common sense question to that is, why wouldn't they just smoke us all out when we were cavemen throwing stones? Humans think that they're going to wait till we got nuclear weapons. We're at the most destructive time in our human race, and you think they're going to take us out now when they could have done it there. They're not here for that. They would have done it a long time ago. We wouldn't even be talking about this.
And, the comments that you're stating are consistent with what the information that I've been receiving from many, many other experiencers, too, who have this feeling imparted to them that they are loved, that they are part of family. And
it is.
Also,
go ahead.
Oh, I was also going to add that to back up a statement that you just made, another experiencer said, quote, "I'm not positive if this is correct or not, but they're very concerned about human DNA sequences, and they're concerned that something is threatening our species, and it could, if we're not careful, lead to the disintegration of our species."
Oh, of course. So and the thing about them is it's very good for them when they take us is we're all individuals. So they really rarely take two humans for the same objective, or is that the word I'm using, or the same job. You know what I mean? So they got me here to explain it well, I guess. They've got her who may have a little more details. We all are one puzzle, but we're all separate pieces. So we all have different jobs, you know what I mean? And I don't know anything about anything, but I do know what happened to me. And I asked a lot of questions, and I still keep in contact with them. Well, they keep in contact with me. So I know what's going on. And I've come to the stage where I don't care anymore because I know. And anything that anybody else says doesn't matter. I let them believe that. I let them love their God. I let them love their church, because at the end, it doesn't matter, because we all go to the same place. It's just this experience.
Ricky, if you had one message to all the listeners and viewers of Third Phase of the Moon, what would you have to tell everybody?
Live, love, and be loved.
We are a very primitive race. We just, as Stanton Friedman was saying last week, tribal warfare is a very big thing among us.
You know what? We will not evolve until we stop fighting. That's it. We are beyond infants. until we stop fighting. And this planet has never stopped fighting. This race hasn't. This breed of humans haven't.
Do you sense that they're attempting to move us ahead telepathically and toward more of a collective consciousness, such as they have, so that we will not destroy ourselves in that way?
Yeah, but please don't take me wrong, but we're stupid. We're stupid. We don't see the obvious. The first thing they do not get is, how are thousands of humans controlling millions? How do they draw this line? You cross it, they lock you up, and that's it. You know, it shouldn't. They don't understand how a small amount of people are controlling the masses who need to change and who know about to change. But it's more our problem than theirs, because we don't do anything about it. You know, we don't. When somebody shouldn't be arrested and they're arrested, we don't do anything. We'll go to Rite Aid and get some paint and get a cardboard and make a sign. That's not going over there and getting him out. That's not changing anything. We have the power to do that, but we do not do it. And that's it. We're stupid. We're stupid. We don't realize what we can do.
We need to wake the world up. Go on, Joe.
You know what? It's more than wake the world up. This is what they told me. You got to, because this is what a lot of people do. They wake them up and leave them. You need to get them up out of bed, tell them what's up, and show them. Waking them up isn't enough anymore. This is stage 2. This is where we get them up out of bed and make them realize what we need to do. That's our job. They got a job when we wake them up to do their job. But if we don't do that, then it's really not their fault, because they don't know. We know.
Ricky, the message really isn't so much words, but it's an understanding you're trying to share, right?
It's an understanding that we all know.
Yeah,
we all know. We all know this is wrong. For the simplest thing.
People are too busy and they're too selfishly focused to understand.
I'll tell you what the word is. The word is comfortable. They're too damn comfortable. Yeah, I saw the news last night. I'm 100, what do you call it? 100-inch screen, my surround sound. But if I go and protest, I might lose that. Or, you know, there's no way I'm sharing my 100 G's that are in the bank. You know, even though I'm going to die with it, that sick guy in the corner might need it, but I'm dying with what I got. It makes absolutely no sense. And we all know that. I'm broke as hell, and I give money out all the time. I feed so many people, but the reason is because I am where I am. I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't have the karma that has surrounded me. I've learned that because I've done a couple dirty things, and I've seen where that gets you. I've never been to prison or anything like that. I'm just talking little things, you know, and I know how the world works, and I'm not worried about it because I do right. And God don't trip off what you've done. All he's worried about is what you're doing right now.